let us move maybe to the second statement. And yeah, the young people will feel very attracted to it. Young people are more familiar with the term upcycling than older generation. And why do we conclude it like this? Because 60%, so 60, younger than 34 years old, say they have heard about the term. And then 30% know what it means. So only 30%. And now I think about you with the 30% as well. But the 30% is still twice as much as the older generation. So Ruva, I believe you're the youngest one here on stage. I'm not going to say anything about the audience. But yeah, you, and I'm talking now about Ruva as a consumer. Mm-hmm. Do you shop differently than, for instance, your parents? And do you go also for that upcycling?
Well, I think there's generally a higher awareness with me than versus my parents, if I'm to take it very personally. Yeah? Okay. And I think the same would be with peers, and it's for a range of reasons. The first just being, if you look at educational curriculums nowadays, they're now integrating a lot of information about environmental and the impact that we have on the environment. So it's something that's being taught to people when they're young. I'm not so sure it was like that in former times. Next is just the connectedness that we have. So if you look at being plugged in digitally through social media and through influencers, this is something that people take a stance on, and they use social media platforms to spread word. And if I look at who uses more, just based on my own observation, obviously I don't have any statistics, but I would think that younger people are more plugged in on these platforms, so they just have like a higher propensity to know about it. And the other thing I can think of is, the effects of not being conscious and resourceful with what nature gives you is more, you can feel it, like you can see it more. The effect of not taking care of our environment, you can see the results. And we are, as a younger generation, in the firing space. We know we can see the impact of not acting environmentally consciously, and we have more time on Earth, not to sound dark, so we can probably experience what the consequences of that are a bit more. So that's what I think is the reason we tend to look up for ways.
And if you now look to, for instance, professionally, you work for Cabos Naturals, are there also younger people who coming then to you to see what your ingredients can do for their consumer products? Or is it a good mix?
It's a good mix for sure, but I would say for people who are starting their brands from scratch, you tend to see younger people really wanting to take this topic of upcycling and make it the center of the products that they offer. When I go to customers and I'm presenting to a group of product developers, usually it's the younger ones that are more excited, asking questions, which is good because they can bring the ideas in bottom up. So no, I think it resonates a bit more with younger people in general.
I see the same also in our own working group, Gudrun. It's the younger ones who really driving this action plan, etc. So it's really nice to see. And we also see that even a school here in Lier has also been contacting us, thanks to VOCA, to also be part of their project. It's about plastic. And then it was also nice to see how I could say to them, look, you talk about plastic, but you should also look to the benefits and why we are using plastic, because otherwise we need to throw away the food. So, and for them, it makes it very exciting to hear both sides of the business. If I talk young people, Tom, I think about your target group. Anything else to add on what Ruva just said?
No, I think you're spot on. We see in research that climate change is one of their biggest concerns. We also see that this is influencing their buying behavior. But you need to be careful, because talking about a generation is generalizing. And not everybody is interested in this. Yeah. And when you do an exercise and you see that youngsters in the company are more attractive to the stories and product designers, and you also said this, Sophie, like, be careful, not only use youngsters here. I think this is a great mix of age, I would like to advise to all if youngsters are more attractive to the story and want to work on the innovation, please bring all generations together. Because we see in all types of research, a person who is 60 years old has 3 times more potential to have a successful startup than someone who's 20.
Voila,
And
Peter.
the only reason because of the difference is that a person who is 60 is going to join by people who are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And you see there's a lot of startups now starting with someone who's 25, and they only are recruiting people also from that age group. And yes, maybe you're more concerned about climate change, but if you want to search for change, you need everybody around you.
I'm fully with you, but I also, linking to what you just said, Ruva, I see it, I have 2 boys, and they learn at school that they need to eat less meat, so I definitely need to invite you at their school, less meat. They talk about plastic soup, but okay, which is, I think, a great movement, but you need to bring the right story. It's a bit like your story as well, Peter. It's not about a better solution, it's going for the best solution, and I think what you're mentioning, we still need to eat, and with that waste, we can do something great again.
But it's what we always say, don't do less bad, because that's the easiest thing to come up with a solution. Do less bad. We want to do it good.
Yeah.
And when you talk about the younger people and inspiring, one of the main reasons I started Paperwise was that one of my grandchildren came from school. They are learning at school about plastic soup, and she asked me, "Opa, granddad, what is left for me when you have used everything up?"
Wow.
And
that
so
hits,
that makes you think
heart.
about change, making a change. And that was a question that I didn't have an answer to. So that was one of the main reasons, an important reason, because you need to have experience to make a change. But that was for me a very important reason to think about what can I do to change.
So your granddaughter is your muse for
She cost me a lot of money.
So
but
she
now we
will
are making
have
money,
a small present then for Christmas next time. Okay.